Hey guys, I'm Bronson, and I want to talk about Q4 2020 and what I think is going to happen with the secondary market for Flesh and Blood. Now, just as a reminder, this is not an investment channel. I am not an investor. This is not investment advice. Do not use any of this advice for investments. I'm just a collector of Flesh and Blood. I love the cards. I love holding them. I love smelling them. I love smelling them, but they don't have too much smell. I like having the cards for my own personal benefit. And I am doing this just as an entertainment purposes. I am doing this to give you my thoughts and my theories. So Q4 2020 is going to be a pinnacle moment for Flesh and Blood. I've been thinking about it so many different ways, and there's just so many different ways that it can all play out at the end of the day. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I feel like right now in this moment, September 2020, a lot of people I feel like have clenched buttholes. Like everyone is just like this, like, okay, what should I do? Like, tell me what to do. Like, there's not much information going around with the secondary market. It's very stale. It feels like very weird at this time because everybody's trying to find the price points of things and people are wondering. People are starting to question pro play and the price of the secondary market. Like I saw a Reddit post today. I wish I wish I remember the name of the Redditor who did it. You can look it up and that is my props to that person. But that person had a great point. They said, "Hey, does this New Zealand tournament that just happened have any effect on the secondary market cards?" And uh, and I didn't see too many comments. There might be now, but it was a great question. Like that's what's starting to happen is people are gonna see professional players playing with these cards, and they're going to say, well, these cards are actually the good cards now in Flesh and Blood. The price on these are going to increase because there's going to be a lot more demand. People are going to see these people playing with these cards in decks. They're going to see them winning tournaments, and then there's going to be a bunch of weeaboos who want to get that same deck, who want to build that same deck, and the price of those cards are going to go up. It's just a matter of time. So I feel like we're kind of on the crux of that. We're leading into that in Q4 2020. And I think what also we're leading into is we're getting rid of all the dumpers. So all the people who have played Flesh and Blood, they like the game. I'm not saying they don't like the game. They've played it maybe a couple times with their friends. They thought it was cool, but eventually they got bored with it. And that saddens me, that people get bored with Flesh and Blood, but it's gonna happen with any TCG or any game. You play it for a little bit and you get bored, or you just lose interest and you just want to get out. So I feel like you're gonna see a lot more of those kind of collections hitting the market. You're gonna see sparingly. I feel people are just gonna shove off and say, "Hey, I have all these cards. Don't really care for it anymore. I want to get rid of it all in one big lot and just for $100 and it's all yours." So I think that is kind of what you're going to see a lot more of going forward, and it's going to be interesting there because I feel like there's going to be a lot of value. So a lot of the bulk lots that I've purchased in the past, and a lot of sets or a lot of things that I've purchased from people, it's more of they've opened a lot of booster boxes and they have excess cards and they just don't care for them and they just want to just get rid of them. So they just bulk it out and ship it out. So there's not too much value in those cards, sadly. I mean, but I don't care. I just love the common cards. I love having the cards to play with my friends, and we don't really care about set symbols too much. Or I mean, we don't we don't care about rarity and who has better cards as much. So um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting that way, and I feel like there's going to be a good amount of people. So let me go into what I see in October. October, I really see people really trying to think and really trying to figure out what's going to happen with the prices. The big question, the big question in Q4 2020 is what is going to happen with the legacy cards? What's going to happen with Welcome to Wrath, Arcane Rising, and Crucible War cards in general now that there's an unlimited printing out there? And what does that mean towards the first initial print run of this stuff? And I feel like it's very eerie currently. And in October, it's going to be even more eerie. But there's also going to be a bunch of people who just get too scared. They're gonna say, well, I like the game. They're not dumpers, so there's going to be dumpers who eventually in October as well, who are just like done with it. And I feel like there's gonna be a good amount of those. But then there's gonna be people who are just scared. They're gonna be scared that, well, I paid what, $400, $500 for a case of cards. I opened all the boxes, and now I have all these commons. I have all these rares, and the unlimited set's coming out, which is going to put a bunch of supply in the market, which is going to reduce the amount of cost that I have. So I might have bulk lots worth, maybe, let's say someone has like $150 worth of bulk commons and rares. Maybe since Unlimited's coming out, those bulk commons and rares are going to go down to like $50, $25 because you don't need them anymore. You have all these unlimited cards. Like, and and that's going to be really interesting. I'm really going to it's really going to be interesting to see all those types of people who are like that, who just get scared. They don't think that there's going to be collectability in those art old cards. And when I said the ultimate question is, it boils down to collectability. How collectible are the beginning cards going to be versus the unlimited edition? And we don't know that. And my gut, for all it's worth, which which isn't that much, is I just think they're going to do something to make it collectible. I think moving on into November. November is when Unlimited like unveils and gets sent off to the public, and apparently there's no release date. It's just whenever you get the stuff, you can sell it or you can do whatever you want with it. I feel like they're going to have to do something to increase the demand on the product. Legend Story Studios knows that this is a product that literally has this red sticker on it that says unlimited. It's like a warning label. It's not a sexy first print run, like golden seal of approval product that people have confidence in. This is some red labeled crap that is meant to be opened and played with, which is a good thing. I like that they're doing it. But I think, and I made another video on it. I one of my gut feelings is I think they'd probably put like a set symbol, start doing set symbols, and that will differentiate the unlimited version versus the original version. I think that's a really good play. There's also other plays that I think they could make that just differentiates the product. I know they're not going to put like a red sticker on the actual cards that say unlimited. They could, which would be interesting as well. But I think that they have to do something because they know that if they unleash the product into the market in November, if they just unleash all of this wave after wave after wave, they just don't have the player base right now. Like if go on the Reddit, look at how many Redditors are subscribed to the Flesh and Blood Reddit. It's nothing. It's like 1,200 people. And if you look at the other trading card games, it's just in like the 30, 40, 50,000 range. I mean, this game is just it's getting up on its legs, and it's just there's I feel like there's just not as much demand for this stuff currently. And if they pump it out into the market and they don't worry and they don't try to change the new product compared to the old stuff is going to go wrong. Like this stuff is just not going to sell as much. Even if like the Crucible War is selling like hotcakes now, the reason I feel like is because of these investor types. In November, I feel like there's going to be a lot of investors who were in the market earlier because they saw that sexy symbol of first print run. That's what drew them in, and they noticed, like after what Welcome to Wrath, they noticed the stuff increase, so they bought Arcane Rising, and then that increased, and then they bought and then they started buying Crucible War, and that started to increase. I mean, the boxes I've seen go for maybe like $120. So that's 20% on your investment. And honestly, once it's totally out, once there's no like announcements of restocks, once it's aged 6 months, the box is easily going to go to 200, $300 range. Easily, guys. I mean, I feel like the sealed product, especially with the first print run label of Welcome to Wrath, Arcane Rising, and Crucible War, I just feel like that stuff long term, there's just not much out of it, out there. And if you've watched my other videos about the print runs and that kind of discussion, if you look at what James White had said on his Facebook page about only being 550 Heart of Fandales, and that's a pretty solid number. I feel that there's a redditor who figured that out. AC Whammy, he figured out that there's 550. When you back into the final print run of these things, it's 22,000 sealed boxes were the total amount, and the amount of boxes going into the future is just probably going to be so low. And I feel like the print run on Arcane Rising and Crucible War are very similar to Welcome to Wrath. I think they're making the first printing and all this stuff very similar, close together. That's just my gut. Um, but yeah, I mean the boxes of the original stuff are something that the investor group of the TCG community feels like is important. Now, I feel like this unlimited set in November is going to detract maybe 50 to 60% of those people. It's not going to be sexy for them anymore, and they're gonna bail. So the real question is how it's going to play out in November. And personally, I think that in November, so in October there's going to be a lot of dumpers, there's going to be a lot of people who get scared and they're going to go out. But then other than that, you're not going to see too much activity, just people buying those things. But everyone else who has like the good stuff, they're just going to clench their buttholes and stay still and not do anything. They're going to wait until the storm comes. So once the storm comes in November, I think that all the old cards, I feel like they're just going to stay the same. I feel like all the prices are just going to just be the base unless there are some buyouts. Now, I think eventually, I think you're going to see it more in 2021 where people fully understand how the cards work and how the prices work and how all that crap works. Because right now, no one knows diddly about what prices are for cards, and and I feel like they don't really there's no market players. It's like literally a card gets listed for $50 and there's 20 other people who list it for $50 for the same price, and it's just set at that. So I feel like as time goes on, there's gonna be more people who understand what things are worth, what things are getting get played in the pro scene, and you're gonna see a little about that in November, where targeted cards may be purchased more and increase in price, but it's not gonna be too crazy. The old cards are definitely going to be like I think they're going to retain their value, at least the base, what they are. There will still be people who get scared and try to dump their stuff, but in general, I feel like the price is going to hold. And the new unlimited cards, I feel like it's going to be a great thing. I feel like the prices are going to be a lot more obtainable. So we've got, I mean, the big hitter I think is the tunic. The spring tunic, Fandale's spring tunic. Man, jeez, that card is crazy. So right now, if you're lucky, you can get that card for 150 bucks, maybe $200. I think initially it's gonna try to be sold or undercut for 125, and I feel eventually that thing is gonna be close to 75, 80 range in 2021. The the original cards are going to stay the same price at those 200 150 range, but I feel that the new unlimited cards, just the amount of print run that they're going to shell out, I feel is going to be a lot more. I feel like there's going to be a lot more cards that go around, which is good. I want that because when you see the pro scene and you see two people out of the final four recently had a tunic, it's nice that they're gonna give more tunics out, not give them out, but make them more available so that the average person can afford them. And I feel like one big thing going into December. So once it gets released, I've kind of talked about that in November. December is gonna be weird. Like I feel like so far, and I've talked about this a lot, collectability is at the heart of what they're doing in 2020. You cannot debate that. That is, it's so obvious that they're doing that. And James White has even posted it. The he wants community and collectability, and that those are the first two core values of Flesh and Blood, and you really need that base. So that's what they've been doing. Once they release that unlimited set, that is the next chapter of Flesh and Blood. Unlimited is that cutoff point where collectability stops and they move forward to community and trying to get people involved. Now, let I just want to be clear. Collectability isn't going to ultimately stop, but I feel like their focus is going to shift towards that. Are they still going to make collectible items? Yes, they are. Are they fully going to try to do collectible things only with their cards? No, they're going to try to print a lot more. They're going to try to do a bunch of more cards and make it so people can afford those cards and make it so more people can actually play the game because at this stage there's just not enough cards to go around. Like people just cannot get this stuff. So it's going to be interesting in that sense where when they flip that switch, there's going to be either two scenarios. Either they're going to print way too much product for the current marketplace, which I think is a very high likelihood because there's not too many, people playing the game, sadly. So the card prices of those boxes will drastically decrease. And it will be good. It'll be a good thing because I think people will be able to get the cards, but it'll be kind of scary because you want the people not to think that the game is useless because then their price perception of the old stuff is going to erode and that is scary. And then we have the other kind of scenario that I have. So the first is that the printing is just way overdone and overdone for the market that actually gets hit for the people who actually want to play the game. But then there's another theory that I have is that the market does increase, that Legend Story Studios does find a way to market their stuff and grab a bunch of people into their game and start like accumulating a much larger player base because currently guys 1,200 people on Reddit, and I know that doesn't represent every person who plays Flesh and Blood, but still comparative to other TCGs, you can you can assume that the market for Flesh and Blood is a lot lower than a lot of other TCGs. So they're gonna have to increase their player base by a lot in order to actually get this unlimited thing rolling, and for them to succeed with their next set, Monarch. So in December, man, it's all gonna be about them increasing their market share, and the more I think about it, they will have to differentiate their product. But I think they're gonna have to do something big, man. We're gonna have to see some crazy ass fireworks, some next level shit, like some deep deep thing that's gonna have to happen in December or November when the unlimited stuff gets out. Because if you think about them moving from a collectability goal and moving to more of a, well, we want to attract more people to our game, they're gonna have to figure out how to attract those people, guys. Like, and that's not an easy thing. It's hard to get people to try something new and do something new and get that stuff in. I feel like a big thing that they'll definitely do is create another format. I mean, the first two formats, man, like the the classic and the blitz, it's all competitive. It's all competitive, and I have the most respect for competitive players, and you guys are amazing. But what I feel like is at the heart of any TCG as well is just those casual players. Competitive players, I feel like make up maybe the top, oh, what, 20% is being very generous. Maybe more like 10 to 20% are people who actually are playing to compete. The others are collectors, investors, and just kitchen table players. I feel like those kitchen table players, man, like it's going to be hard to get them in and acclimated without adding another layer of another format, a casual format where you can just quickly play with your friends and it's a fun way of playing. And that's going to be like an easy thing I think that they could do, but even that, they're going to need something big. And I haven't really heard of any big thing happen in December, which makes me really think like, are they waiting till the last second, which is a very, very good, very possible thing. I think that releasing some crazy information right at the last second when the product is released will spur big things and shockwaves down the system and get the product selling and also getting people interested in the game. So I think they're holding out, man. Because if you think about it, right now it's the end of September. Right now it's September 28th. So if they released some information now, well, you'd have to wait a month for the. We'd have to wait a month around just waiting, and then we're gonna get bored, until the unlimited set comes out. I think right now they're biding their time. They're preparing for the next set release, the unlimited, and once that starts up, they're going to announce something big. They're also going to try to increase the collectability of their original product by differentiating their new product. And I know they're putting that red sticker on the box, but they need to differentiate the cards. If they don't differentiate the cards, I don't think people are really gonna give a shit that it says like a different year on the bottom or unlimited on the bottom, like in really small text. Like it's not. I don't know. That in my mind isn't that's not enough to actually differentiate those two things. So I think we're going to see something really big happen in November, December range that's going to draw in players to increase the demand of the unlimited product. And in order to sell that stuff effectively, I think they're really going to need to do that. Now, I don't know. One last thing I will say is I could be extremely underestimating the investor mindset. I feel like there is another scenario where the investors don't give a shit that it has a red sticker that sucks. They're gonna invest in this regardless because they've seen the past performance of these products. They've seen that Welcome to Wrath, if you bought that at $100, well, you just made $200. They've seen Arcane Rising, you've just made $100 on your money. The thing went from 100 to 200. So with that track record so far, and they've seen a lot of sold listings, they know that it's easy money. I feel like it might even draw in more investors. There is a scenario with that where investors just do not care that it has a red flashy crappy sticker on it. They think, well, all the other stuff made money, so this is going to make money too. And that's an interesting idea. I didn't think about that too much cuz at the end of the day, if the product sells out like that, then it's going to be a success, but the fact that it says unlimited, man. Unlimited means there's a ton of it. And I even asked them on their Twitter. You can even check. I forgot what Twitter comment they had, but I said, "Hey guys, so how long are you going to be printing that unlimited set?" And Legend Story Studios responded to me, and they responded really fast. They responded in like 2 days. If you ever want to ask them stuff, post their Twitter, man. That they're I can't guarantee that they're always going to respond to all your Twitter things, but I was just surprised at the attentiveness. But they did say that they had no plans on the time frame of when they're going to stop printing, and And I know that that is an extremely sensitive question, so maybe that was more of a general answer to satiate my need for the the answer, but not giving me specifics of when things are actually going to be cut off. But it's just very interesting to me. So what that tells me is I feel like it is going to be more of a print demand type of thing where they print a bunch of stuff, they wait for it all to sell, and then once it sells out, then they print more, and then they ship it out. That is a great system too because I feel like the investors need to see that this stuff is selling out. If they see that they can order 200 cases and and there's unlimited supply in the background, they're gonna get scared. And I definitely feel like LSS is gonna do a first big wave, send it out, fully well and knowing that that's gonna sell it pretty quick, and then it sells out quick with investors, and they realize that it's still popular, and then LSS will send another wave after wave, and until more people get it. And I'm fine with that. I think it's a good strategy, but it's just going to be very interesting to see how different players of the community react to this and how they adapt to this new type of printing because up to this point we've all been promised that this stuff is collectible. We've all been shown a little sticker that says, well, it's not a sticker, but it's a little medallion that says first print run. And we've all been seeing this and we've been told that the print run's low. But it's really going to be interesting when we adapt into a new product that has an unlimited printing for however amount of time. It's going to have a limit to it. I know that. I know they're going to shut it off eventually, most likely. But just the fact that you know that you've no idea what the print run on this stuff is a little scary, and it's really going to be interesting to adapt. So, hey, if you're still listening to me this long in the video, thanks. I know this is a really long, rambling video, and I appreciate you hearing me out and hearing all my theories. And at the end of the day, I just want to leave you with this: no one knows what's gonna happen. No one knows. I don't know. I'm not some mind reader. I can't see the future. I don't have insider information. This is an investment channel. This is an investment advice. I am not an investor. I'm a collector, and I'm just doing this for entertainment purposes. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the future is because I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's really, really fun to think about. And please let me know what you think. I really want to hear other ideas and opinions on this because it's very fascinating and learning new things every day and thinking about new things of how it's going to play out. Thanks for watching.